The plan to do in-person learning for all grades in the Kasson-Mantorville School District in 3 weeks, the first in Minnesota to announce such a plan. There are varying views. I brought my 14-year-old son to the advisory board meeting this morning. He is about to be a freshman in this district as members voted for this in-person learning. Afterward, he sat down with the superintendent for a conversation from a student's perspective on this plan.
How will we go fully back when the whole thing is we have to say 6 feet, but if every single desk is 6 feet, that kind of cuts down the desk seating to about half, yet we're bringing everyone back. How would that work?
That's a great question, and the answer to that is if we go into the in-person model, that CDC guideline of 6 feet isn't in place. So we're going to do as much as we can in each of the buildings to maximize the space between all of the students, but yet until we go to a hybrid model that you mentioned, we wouldn't have to have that 6 feet of separation. Although I can assure you we're doing everything in our power, especially when the kids are eating, when they won't have their mask on, that all the kids will remain 6 feet apart in each of the buildings. We've also done some things by cohorting kids at the elementary school that will allow kids to stay with their grade level and in particular their class. So when we do things like that, we then have the ability to spread those kids out a little more. We recently transferred some staff members at the middle school, or at the elementary school, to a different position as well, and that will allow us to reduce some of the class sizes at the elementary school to maximize that distance between the students.
Yeah, we're all not wearing masks, but usually at lunch there's only 2 periods, but that causes there's a lot of people at lunch. So how will that look like? Will there still be that amount of people at lunch?
Well, you might be seeing quite a few different things at lunch this year. One of the things we're contemplating, especially at the elementary school, all the lunches are going to be served in the pods. The middle school, the kids are going to be spread out, and Mr. Larson did a great job today explaining they're identifying specific spots on tables where kids will be able to sit during their lunch, and we've got a big enough lunchroom with the different lunch periods that we've now put into place, so we will be able to separate the kids 6 feet all times in the lunchrooms. At the high school level, there might be something new that some kids might be entertained by, and we might be allowing some of the kids to have an open lunch even if they're not seniors. One of the things that we're balancing out there right now, though, is we're afraid if kids leave the building, they may not be doing as much social distancing as they would be in the building. So we're weighing out the factor of being able to social distance better here at the high school, but yet we're putting kids in probably a little bit larger danger if they're packing 6 kids into a car going home for lunch. So those are some of the things we're looking at.
So yeah, going along with how many people are in the lunchroom, in the hallways. So we usually have the strict 1 period goes to 2nd and 3rd, and we all kind of collide together, so there's just a lot of people in the hallways. Like, will it be the same like that again with all the people and just crowds in the hallways?
You probably noticed some of those changes, especially at the elementary school and the middle school, where they're going to be changing the class transition time from one class to another. At the high school, it's a little bit more difficult, mainly because freshmen are in class with seniors and sophomores are in classes with juniors. So how we finalize our plan to try to minimize that contact in the passing times in the hallways is still something that Mr. Langamo is diligently working on. The other part of that is lockers and the utilization of those lockers. If we ever go to a hybrid model, the distancing seems a little bit easier because you can space not as many kids will be in the hallways, but there will be a little bit more congestion 9 through 12 than there will be in some of the other buildings.
Well, will it look that way in the middle school as well, with how many kids in the middle school, like when there's specials like art and gym?
Yeah, passing time is going to be at different times, so the hallways will nowhere be near as cluttered as you used to experience at the middle school.
Well, thank you for answering all my questions.